Hey guys, welcome to Watch Autumn Keto. Today I'm going to be making one of my favorite recipes, and that is chicken crust pizza. It's a pizza where the crust is actually chicken. And this is one of my favorite recipes for so many reasons. First of all, it's pizza and it tastes awesome. Second of all, it's super easy to make, a lot easier than like cauliflower crust or all those other keto crusts that might be out there. And number three, cleanup is a breeze. I find myself like rating recipes based on how much stuff it gets dirty in the kitchen, and this one is one of the simplest ones with the biggest payoff. So let's go ahead and get started. And the first thing we're gonna do is dry out our chicken. We're gonna get our chicken and we're gonna get it ready. So what you will need for your crust is 9 ounces of canned chicken. Now, you can use rotisserie chicken or whatever chicken you have, but canned chicken is 100% the easiest and most convenient option when you're gonna make this recipe. So when you're getting canned chicken, you really wanna check the ingredients because you think it's just like chicken in a can, but a lot of companies put fillers like maltodextrin and other sorts of sugars and things in the chicken that are completely unnecessary. But when you check, all you want, the ingredients in this chicken are white chicken, salt, and water. You want to get as close to that as possible. If you start seeing some chemically looking things, that is not what you want in your chicken. And then you'll also notice that they probably have carbs if that's the case. And we are going for a low carb crust, ergo our meat cannot have carbs in it. So the first thing you're gonna do is get 9 ounces. This is a 5-ounce can, so maybe 10 ounces. So a 4.5, a 5-ounce can, just 9 to 10 ounces of chicken of your choice, as low carb as possible. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open and we're gonna drain our chicken. All right, so now I'm gonna take my chickens and I'm going to put them on a silicone mat. So what you'll also notice me doing is flattening out the chicken and kind of putting it into smaller pieces. And I feel like the smaller the pieces, the better combo you're gonna get when we start to make our crust. But that's good, that's all you gotta do right there. And now we're gonna get this in the oven to heat for 10 minutes at 350. All right, it's been 10 minutes and our chicken is out of the oven. So I've just taken it out about a minute or two ago, and you wanna give your chicken about 2 to 3 minutes to rest and to cool off a little bit as it comes out of the oven. And as soon as I took the chicken out of the oven, I cranked the oven all the way up to 500. So for this next part, in order to really make the crust, we're gonna have to get the chicken to 500. So now that the chicken's out of the oven, how do we make it into a crust? And we do that by adding 2 more ingredients. The first ingredient is 1 ounce or 28 grams of Parmesan cheese. So I have my grated Parmesan. Grated Parmesan really works best for this. If you get shredded or shaved or anything that's bigger, it's not really gonna incorporate into the chicken that well. Okay, so I have my 28 grams here. And now I'm going to see if it is cool enough, which it is. So another thing about my silicone mat, I can just lift it right off of the baking sheet, and I'm going to funnel my chicken into the bowl. Doesn't get much easier than this. Okay, I got a straggler, I got a chicken straggler. So now I'm gonna just take my fork and I'm gonna give this a little mix just to combine and then to also let the cheese bring down the temperature of the chicken even more. And our final ingredient, the world's oldest binder, we're gonna be using an egg. Got my egg here. Just crack your egg into your mixture and give it a good stir. And of course, we let the chicken cool, we let the chicken mix with the Parmesan, all to bring down the temperature so that we don't cook our egg. So I'm gonna crack that egg in there. And I'm gonna give it a good smash. And I'm just mixing it. So I'm dumping it right back on the mat. Make sure you get it all out there. Okay. so now that it's back on the mat, you can see that it stays together for the most part. And this is when we're going to flatten it out to actually create our crust. In order to do that, I definitely recommend getting a piece of parchment paper in order to avoid any stickiness, and once again, clean up to keep it clean. So I just put the parchment paper on top, and what I like to start out doing is just pressing it with my hands first, and that way you can control that everything sticks together. So once you get it to a nice thickness with your hand, for evenness, you want to pick up your handy dandy rolling pin, or in this case, your apple cider vinegar, which you can see is unopened because as much as I want to be a good person and actually drink this stuff, I just can't bring myself to do it. So I have been seeing some recipes that actually use it, and I was like, yes, I get a chance to open it because I don't know if I'm strong enough to drink it. Now I've done it before and it's just torture. It's literal torture and I don't want to do it. So I have bought it and it's sat there for months. Okay, so I flattened out my crust. All right, now we just take our parchment paper off, and you'll see it's pretty thin. You can change the thickness to however you would like. I like to go the thinner the better because it really gives you that crispy crust. And so now also notice what I'm doing is I'm just putting the edges together to make it more of a round shape. So now what we'll be doing is putting this in a 500-degree oven. Once again, crank it all the way up to 500, and we're gonna put it in there from 7 to 10 minutes. I found that mine works great at 9 minutes, so I'm gonna set my timer to 9 minutes. And when we come back, we will have an actual crust with which to build our pizza. So this is going in here for 9 minutes, and we'll be back when it's done. Okay, so we are back, and as you see, 500 sets off my smoke alarm. That's pretty much what happens when I make this, just because of the sheer heat and steam and smoke coming out of the oven. But it's been 9 minutes and our crust is set. And you can always tell if your crust is set if you can take it and if you can move it, and it moves as one unit. See, that's not coming apart, and also non-stick. It's not sticking to the silicone mat. I cannot stress the silicone mat enough. But now it just came out of the oven. No need to let this cool because we're just gonna put it back in the oven once we build our pizza. Today I am making a pepperoni and bacon pizza. Now of course you can put whatever toppings you want to on the pizza. Pepperoni and bacon, honestly, if I had some jalapeno, it would be going on there as well, but you can't really go wrong with pepperoni and bacon. Now, whenever you're talking about cured meats, you always want to get the highest quality that you can. So in this case, we have actually uncured bacon with no nitrates or nitrites, none of those chemicals that have been shown to be detrimental to your health. However, our pepperonis are conventional pepperonis, so you just want to make sure to limit the use of those and use them sparingly. But I mean, a pizza a day, a pizza a week, no, okay, not a pizza a day, wait a minute. So pizza a week won't cause you any trouble. Once again, I am not a doctor. These statements have not been verified by the FDA. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our pizza, and we're going to start with our pizza sauce. Now this is 1/4 a cup or 60 grams. I have weighed it out, 60 grams of Rao's homemade pizza sauce. And this stuff is pretty much as low carb as you're going to get. There's only 2 grams of carbs per 1/4 cup. And that's super low compared to the next highest brands are like 5 or 6. And so we're trying to limit carbs. So the tomato sauce is where we're gonna get the majority of our carbs. I've measured out 60 grams. So I'm just gonna put that on my crust. And I'm going to spread that around. I'm gonna add some oregano. You can add some Italian seasoning. but just a couple of sprinkles, like, just Italian, right? It gives you that pizza feel, and it's gonna give you that aromatic that really reminds you that you're eating pizza, because the crust is chicken. So what I like to do is I use a half a cup of cheese. So the serving size is a 1/4 cup, which is 28 grams, but I double that to 56. So what I like to do is take 1/2 of that and sprinkle that on. Okay, and then next what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our toppings. So I have 1 serving of pepperonis here. That's approximately 14 slices. And you'll find that with a pizza of this size, it pretty much just covers it perfectly. Next, what we did is just took 2 slices of bacon, once again, uncured, no nitrates or nitrites, and we just cooked them in the microwave. Feel free to cook your bacon however you would like, but the whole point of this recipe is to be simple, ergo microwave cooking your bacon. Now that we've added our bacon, I'm going to cover it with our remaining cheese. I am using every last bit because wasting cheese is a shame, especially on the keto diet. Okay, so now we're gonna pop this back in the oven for, once again, 500-degree oven for about 6 minutes max. Everything's pretty much already done. We're just wanting it to get melty and heaty and cheesy and ready to serve. So this is gonna go back in the oven and we'll see you in 6 minutes. Okay, so it has been 6 minutes. I'm turning everything off. Hopefully the smoke alarm doesn't go off again, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Okay, opening the oven. Oh yeah, it's gonna go off. It's gonna go off. Okay, so we have our pizza removed from the oven, and don't that look good? What? And if you guys could only smell the pepperoni goodness that was happening in here. Thank you. Okay, so I'm very excited right now, and so what we're gonna do is we're gonna slice this sucker up into 4 pieces. Now this is what I call like a personal pizza, meaning it makes 1 serving, but you could definitely eat half of this with like some salad or some sort of other, vegetable concoction, but this is a 1 serving pizza for me. Now I will say that this is a very low carb pizza, but it's also really high in protein. So this is definitely out of your keto macros in terms of this is a lot more protein than it is fat, because the whole crust is chicken, which is all protein. Maybe have a fat bomb with this or something that's going to add to the fat that is going along with the protein. And for the complete recipe and macros of this pizza and of the crust, I'll put everything in the description below. Also, feel free to check out my blog, www.watchautumnketo.com, for full macro and nutritional information. So let's cut this on up and let's take a bite. I'm going in. Oh yeah, look at that. And as the pizza cools, it will definitely thicken. So right now, you notice the middle sinking, but as it cools, this will stand up even more. So I'm taking a bite for the video, and then I'm gonna let this thing cool off. Okay. It's salty, it's cheesy, it's pepperoni-y, and it's chickeny. So if you're a person that likes chicken on their pizza, this is great for you because the chicken is your pizza. So I think it doesn't really mask the taste of the chicken too much. It just adds it as another layer of flavor and of heartiness to your pizza. So I'm gonna let this cool off. I'll probably put this in a container for meal prep, but as you can see, super quick, super easy, super delicious, super worth it. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll catch you next time. Just gonna hang out here for a minute. Woo. you're just like,